Today we have the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I mentioned this off the
Mhm.
air, how I did the Browns a week ago or so, and I was really, I would say really high on the Browns. I think they could be 11-6. I think I had them at 10-7. This Steelers team, dude, they're kind of sneaky.
They look, yeah. I
They're
think
kind of
it's,
sneaky.
yeah. To me, it's just kind of all depends on one guy,
I
and
think
that
we
is their
both know who
quarterback.
that who that guy is. But you have the offense today. I have the defense. So I'll hand it over to you to get us started here.
All right, offense. As you're mentioning, probably the biggest factor in how the Steelers do is Kenny Two Gloves, as they call him. And can he perform? Like I think he was starting to play pretty solid last year at the end of the year, but he had 7 touchdowns and 9 interceptions last year in 13 games, which isn't great, I would say, but he was a rookie. So I'm assuming he's going to get more comfortable in the NFL and just with the offense. But they have weapons around him. That's the thing. They have Najee Harris, who had 1,000 yards, 1,034 yards rushing. Um, they did like just run him a ton. Like his average yards per carry was 3.8, so not great. But I think if Kenny can like pass the ball, it'll open up lanes for him to run better, and he can also catch the ball out of the backfield. Um, they also have really good receivers. Deontay Johnson is a very good receiver. He was kind of like one of those I think he was a late rounder undrafted guy who's just performed pretty good. He had 82 yards receiving. He had no touchdowns though, but I think he'll have a really good year this year. And then also they have George Pickens, who everyone is raving about from some of his catches he's made. Um, I think he could be really good, but if you watch football, watched him in college, watched him anytime, it's can he just not do something stupid? He's an interesting guy. I know we always talk about whenever he got drafted, his pose looking at the TV, so weird. Um, but he had 801 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns. I think he's I think he may take over that number one receiver, or him and Deontay are going to be very close, kind of how they were last year. But I think they'll have more yards, and I think the passing attack will be more prolific. And then they also picked up Allen Robinson. He was with the Rams. Obviously, that did not work out. He's obviously haven't had any great years since his Jaguar days. He was with the Bears and then the Rams. It's not like he had any great quarterbacks, but
Yeah.
I think he's still a solid receiver. A nice three third guy, receiver guy, can play outside, big body, can make some catches. Um, and then also they have a tight end who I really like, Pat Freiermuth, who was my fantasy tight end last year, served me well. I think he's really good. He had 732 yards receiving last year, so he's right up there with Pickens and Johnson, 2 touchdowns. Um, Second on the team in reception. So he's obviously a trusted guy for that Kenny likes to throw to. So I think they have weapons on offense to be pretty solid. I really don't know how good their offensive line was last year. Um, it's not like I dive deep into the weeds on offensive line play, even though I do like watching them hit people. But their total offense for last year, let me find, they were in the bottom half, like bottom 10, bottom third, I would say, just roughly looking at it. 322 yards per game. Um, they had 121 rushing yards per game, 200 passing. I think their passing is going to go up, and I think their rushing that's pretty solid, I would say. I'm going to kind of sort this rushing. Okay, actually, it's like right in the middle of the pack for rushing, which isn't terrible, but I think if their passing game just improves a tiny bit, um, I think the rushing attack will improve a lot. Yeah, their passing offense was kind of in the bottom half as well, and their rushing was a little bit better. So if they can just improve their passing, which I think they can, they got the weapons. I think Kenny's gonna be more relaxed and play better. And also another weapon I forgot to mention is Darnell Washington, who they drafted from Georgia, who's like 6'7", I'm
Mhm.
actually going to click on his name because I want to read his measurables. I believe he's like 6'7". Uh, come on, yeah, 6'7", 264. Um, I don't know if he's going to be a big catch guy or he's going to be there more for blocking, but
Yeah.
he's a very big guy who can move, who could be kind of fun to watch out for. But I think the Steelers could be like a decent team. I think they could get in the playoffs, sneak into the playoffs in this crazy AFC.
It's a tough division. That's the one thing we have to
Yeah,
keep in mind. Bengals, Ravens, Browns. Defensively, TJ Watt, I mean, obviously is the leader of this
beast.
defense. Minka Fitzpatrick is still there. Patrick
Hmm.
Peterson in his later years now, he is there.
Patrick
Cameron Hayward,
Peterson is? Oh, dang.
yeah, Patrick Peterson's there. Keanu Neal is there. Demonte KZ is there.
That's just a
And
fun name.
then it really is. Alex Highsmith is a linebacker. Cole Holcomb is a linebacker, and then Cameron Hayward in his later years as well.
He's
So they
been
have
there. Yeah, he's
some
been dominating. And they
they have
drafted
some veteran leadership there.
Joey Porter Jr. this year, and his dad played for the
Yeah,
Steelers, which is cool.
yeah. So last year their defense was actually 10th overall in football. And looking at the names here, I did the Patriots last, and
Mhm.
they don't have those big names like usual Patriots defenses do, but they always find a way. Belichick gets that defense going. I think
Uh,
that Steelers defense is kind of the same way. Like obviously
yeah,
TJ Watt's a huge name and Minka is a huge name, but overall this defense I think is going to be a top 12 to
top
15 at
third.
least. Yeah, top third in the NFL again this year.
Yeah.
And like you said with their offense, really quickly on the offense, you mentioned it a little bit. I think those weapons of Pickens and Deontay Johnson and even Allen Robinson, like you said, as
Mhm.
a third receiver, that's going to open up for Najee a lot more than
I
what
think
people
so
think.
too. And Najee can help in the passing game as well. I think they got some good pieces, sneakily good pieces, I would say. And then obviously they have Mike Tomlin, who's never had a year under 500,
Yeah,
which is crazy. I think he's the longest tenured coach.
I think
I
so.
think either him or
It's
John
been a
Harbaugh, but
minute.
I think it's him, which they're both in the same division, which is kind of crazy. Just
That
realized
is
that in
crazy.
both big
Yeah,
rivals.
yeah, yeah.
And he's a defensive guy, so I think that's kind of how like Belichick's a defensive guy, so that's probably why their
Mhm.
defense is just they're always pretty solid.
No, they were 9-8 overall last year. And like you said, there's a huge over 500 streak they have going on here. So let's see what we think they're going to be like this year. They start week 1 at home versus the 49ers, a very tough week 1, and I have them winning it.
They're gonna lose.
Okay. I don't blame you for that one bit. Week 2 at home as well, this time versus the Browns, another tough matchup, but I have them winning this one as well.
I have them winning against the Browns.
So week 3 at the Raiders. We all know how I feel about the Raiders this year. A loss here at the Raiders.
Win.
Week 4 at the Texans. I have them winning this one.
Yep. They're gonna be 3-1, and everyone's gonna be like, the Steelers are back.
Uh-huh. Week 5 at home versus the Ravens. I have them winning this one as well.
I'm gonna have them lose. Keep them humble.
Week 6 is their bye. They come out of the bye versus the Rams on the road. I have them winning this one.
They're gonna win, and that stadium is gonna be a lot of terrible towels
Yeah.
because the Rams have no fans.
Week 8 against Zach's hometown team, the Jaguars, or at
My
home versus the
my
Jaguars.
my year and a half hometown team.
Yes, I have them.
Loss,
I have them
obviously.
losing. Yeah, I have them losing. Week 9 at home versus the Titans. I have them winning this one.
I have them winning as well.
Week 10 at home versus the Packers. We have the Packers next. I have them winning this one.
I have them winning.
And then two really tough road matchups in the division at the Browns in week 11. I have a loss here.
I have a loss there at Browns.
Week 12 at the Bengals. I also have a loss here. Those are two
Yep,
tough
loss,
games.
loss as well.
Then it kind of comes back easier. They have at home in week 13, the Arizona Cardinals. I have a win here.
That's a win.
Week 14
Cardinals
at
are going to
home
be
versus
bad,
so bad.
bad.
So bad.
We did them
Week
already, right? I think you
yeah,
did
we
them.
at the very beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, bad.
Week 14 at home versus the Patriots. I have a loss here actually.
I'm going win against the
Mhm.
Pats.
Week 15 at the Colts, a win.
Yeah, it's a win.
And then these last 3 weeks are extremely tough to end the year. If you guys remember last year, the Steelers won their last 3 games to get over their
Mm-hmm.
500 point last year. These 3 games are tough. So they play week 16 at home versus the Bengals, and I have them winning this one at home versus the Bengals.
I just think the Bengals are better, and I'm gonna have them lose.
They are. They are. I think I had the Bengals winning it. Yeah, I had the Bengals winning at home in that one.
I had them
Week
sweeping them this year.
17. What'd you say?
I said I had the Bengals sweeping the Steelers this year.
Did you? Yeah, I
I'll probably whenever we
probably
do
gonna
the
happen.
Bengals, I'll probably have the Steelers beat them one day because I just
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
remember.
Week 17 at the Seattle Seahawks. You gotta have an L here.
I'll go loss.
Doctor. And then week 18 to finish off the year against their rival at the Ravens. I have them losing this one.
I'll have them win. I had the Ravens beat the
Okay.
Steelers at home, and I'll have the Steelers beat the Ravens
Okay.
in Baltimore.
So I have the Pittsburgh Steelers last year 9-8, this year 10-7.
I had them 10 too. I was coming down to
Okay.
the end there, and I had it 8, and I'm like, I can't have them get 11 or 12 wins because that's not going to happen.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, that's we both agree with that. 10-7. We haven't done the
I think
Ravens or
that's
the
kind of
Bengals yet.
round where I think they could be worse than that too, because they do
They
play some
could.
decent teams.
They no, they definitely have some tough games, and they're off. I mean, really tough division to compete with. One thing we also have to keep in mind, you mentioned how whenever you do the Bengals, you might have it like switched around.
Yeah,
These are just like the preseason predictions because when we go week by week,
yeah.
everything's like gonna change.
Everything changes.
We're not coming back to
Yeah, I'm gonna
this to
listen back and be like, oh, even though the Bengals, Joe Burrow's out for,
yeah,
and they're
yeah,
on their third string, I'm still picking them to beat the Bills.
yeah, yeah. But no, 10-7 playoff team, maybe. I think
Man,
it's
it's gonna
like
be
right on the
tough.
edge.
There's if you look at the AFC East, all four teams are solid. AFC North, all four
Yeah.
teams are solid. Um,
South
AFC
sucks
West is
besides
besides the Jags, and I feel like the
yeah,
Titans are sneakily going to be decent this year somehow.
they
But
could.
AFC West is solid too. It's like it's not enough room
Mm.
to go around. 10-7
AFC
may not
is
get in.
crazy. That's true. No, that's a very good point. But yeah, that wraps it up for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We have the Packers and the Commanders and the Seahawks all coming up very soon. So be out on the lookout for that, and we will see you guys then.
See you guys.